Hello, and how are you today? I'm glad you're here. If you like, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. We got spoilers coming for Marvel Avengers Endgame coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody look out. Anybody else here? We good? All right, we're gonna spoil it. We're getting into it. I loved Avengers Endgame. There, I said it. I put it out there. I've never seen a movie to be able to encapsulate so much in the course of a 10-year span before. So this movie really had me feeling from the very beginning of it, when you had Hawkeye training his daughter, and then the next thing you know, you hear that thunder in the background. It's like, uh-oh, thunder in the background. That means somebody's disappeared, and his whole family disappeared. And it just was crazy because it's just like, wait, I know what's gonna happen. Oh gosh, no. Then I saw the Avengers, they're out trying to do things, and Miss Marvel is there, and everybody goes, and she saves Tony because Tony's trying to get home on the ship, and him and Nebula are playing football, which I love that. When I saw them playing football together, I just thought that was so cute of them. But anyway, so, Captain Marvel gets him home, does all this crazy stuff, and then she's like, oh, just go get him. Let's just go get Thanos right now, and it's just like, no. It's not gonna be that easy. Like, they even tell her, like, look, we kind of do things as a team here. So anyway, as time goes on, you get to the point they go to get Thanos, and they cut his head off, and they basically kill him. And it's like, they think, oh my gosh, he destroyed the stones. We can't do anything. We can't fix this. And it's kind of bad because you're sitting there going like, holy crap, what are we supposed to do now if they can't fix it? Anyway, fast forward, and Hank Pym shows up, and not Hank Pym, Scott Lang shows up. A mouse is the hero of the Marvel Universe. A mouse basically freed Scott Lang from the quantum realm. And so he comes in, and he's all like, look, the quantum realm works differently than regular time. We can do this. We can do a time heist. So this basically becomes the second part of the movie. They start this time heist. They're jumping around. Of course, they make fun of all the old time movies and stuff like that, because the time travel movies and things. And eventually, over the course of time, Thor ends up getting his hand. Thor, after going through and just being a really wreck emotionally, he's so distraught over Thanos. When the Hulk mentions his name, there's this brief moment where the Hulk and him are talking, and he's like, look, Thanos, this is not gonna bring the people back that Thanos killed. And Thor's just like, don't say that name around me. And then Hulk kind of looks at him, he's like, Thor, you need to get your hands off me. It's kind of understanding that the Hulk may be smart, the Hulk may have Banner's brain, but he still has Hulk's rage. So anyway, we're getting to the part that I'm painting here. Basically, you end up with the third act, really, the point where they've snapped everybody back that was lost. Tony sets up one specific guideline. He says, I don't want to lose any of this. Basically, whoever got snapped away during the snap is who we want back, but we want it back at this time. So that's kind of the one rule Tony laid out. And so Tony, of course, figured out, oh my gosh, him and the little girl, the interactions with him and the little girl, so sweet, especially when she's like, I love you 3000, And so, yeah, he even tells her, he says, go to bed or else I'm gonna throw away all your toys. But anyway, so Tony comes back in, the Avengers are starting to reform. We get to this point, they're doing the time travel thing, they're doing the time heist. And Thor ends up bringing Mjolnir back with him in Stormbringer. So it comes to this point in the movie where Thanos is fighting Captain America, Iron Man, and Iron Man, Thor, and why can't I think straight? He's coming back fighting Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. And they're fighting each other, and at one point Thanos has him down, and he's getting ready to cut his head off, basically, to do what he didn't do to him the first time. And it's a different Thanos. It's a Thanos from a younger time. And so he ends up going, and all of a sudden the hammer hits him. It's like, wait a minute. And I'm looking at it going, who threw the hammer? Thor can't throw the hammer. And all of a sudden you look up and it's Steve. And I screamed like an 8-year-old me. So I was like, oh my gosh, this has been done in the comic book so many times. Steve has picked up the hammer. Thor said he's worthy multiple times. You see the scene in Age of Ultron where he almost picks up the hammer. And you just sit there going like, they paid that off. And it looks so epically awesome when he did it. I mean, he's just brawling. At one point he's got the shield, he's throwing the shield, he's hitting the shield with the hammer. And by the power of magic, by the way, we have a new background. So Anyway, so he's sitting there doing all this fight, man. It's crazy because he's just going at it, going at it, going at it, going at it. And he's doing all this crazy stuff. And even when Thanos brings forth his army, Cap's standing there with a broken shield and the hammer. He's getting ready to go after all. Like, it's just him versus everybody. The next thing you know, he hears Falcon say, "Hey, to your left." Throw back to Captain America Winter Soldier, where he keeps lapping Falcon. Doctor Strange brings everybody back. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then Captain America comes up and he says those two infamous words that Captain America, I've been waiting on Captain America to say, since this all started. He never officially got to say the two words, Avengers, assemble. And we just get this beautiful fight. It's just going on, spanning on. At one point, the ladies get to go in on it. You know, they're doing their own thing. They're trying to get the gauntlet over to the time machine thing that Scott has in the back of his van. You got Clint, Hawkeye, running around. He's doing his thing, trying to keep the gauntlet safe. You get Spiderman with a moment. You got Black Panther taking hits and just discharging it, just blow, blow, blow. It's crazy. And then all of a sudden, in the midst of all this, it ends up coming down. I mean, Captain Marvel goes down to try to whoop him, and he ends up getting the Power Stone off the glove and just hitting her with it. And then she's out of commission. But it comes down to him and Tony. And it's funny because Tony looks at Doctor Strange at one point, and he says, "Hey, is this the reality? You saw all these different realities. Is this the one?" And Strange goes, "If I tell you, it won't happen." And so basically, at one point, he looks over at Doctor Strange, and he pulls a finger up. It's like, this is the one. Tony goes to take on Thanos. You're just like, there's no way. The last time they went at each other, man, Thanos whooped him and he almost killed him. And then at the brief moment where he goes to snap his fingers, and all of a sudden he just gets the cold snap. It just goes clink. And Thanos looks at the glove to realize that gems aren't there. And all of a sudden he looks out and he says, "I am inevitable." And Iron Man and Tony Stark at the greatest moment ever, he says, "I am Iron Man." And he just snaps the fingers, and all of a sudden, all of Thanos' forces start disappearing. And then eventually, at the end of it all, Thanos disappears. Then you get to one of the coolest death scenes. I say coolest death scenes, but to see a moment where this guy who started it all, he was Iron Man. He was literally the one they put their bets on. And he's the one that gets to end it all. And you see Rhodey go up to him, Rhodey's talking to him, and all of a sudden you get to see, Spider-Man come up to him and say something, and then Pepper says one of the most beautiful things that encompasses this whole movie series. He looks at her, and she looks at him, and she says, "It's okay. You can rest. We're gonna be okay. You can rest now." And it's like, he's not just talking to the character Tony Stark, he's talking to Robert Downey Jr. because you understand that without him, none of these other movies come out. If Iron Man had not done well in the theaters, this movie would have never worked. But the fact that this movie worked and launched this whole entire franchise was such a beautiful thing. And man, I mean, just, why did I paint this scene? All the possible scenes I could have painted, because this moment for me was one of those moments, like I said, 8-year-old me lost his mind to see Steve Rogers not only wielding Mjolnir, but throwing the lightning at one point at him and hurling lightning at Thanos and just going to town. Him and the shield, him and the hammer, just going off. He was worthy to hold the hammer of Thor. Not many mortal men can say that. And so that moment for me was just, I jumped up, I shouted, I screamed, I lost my mind, I lost my cool, I was so undignified, it wasn't even funny. So let me know what your favorite scene is from Avengers Endgame. If you've seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, you've been somewhat spoiled. We can talk about it in the future if you want. Anyway, so listen guys, do me a favor. Thank you, first of all. This is, by the way, this movie is video 250. And thank you. Be blessed, be a blessing to somebody, guys. Take care.